Okay, I really hope you enjoyed this lesson and that you learned a lot about the different kinds of professions you can use genetics with. One profession we learned about is that of a bioethicist. Bioethicists are critical in helping us create new ethical standards in medical science and research. They frequently debate issues like gene patenting, and they also help us to interpret important legal issues such as GINA, or the Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act. Another important profession that uses genetics, but which you don't need an advanced degree or even a specialized degree in genetics for, is a director of clinical operations. A director of clinical operations designs and manages clinical trials. And they also use information from pharmacogenetics to help inform their decisions about designing and managing those clinical trials. Now, another profession, specifically a human geneticist, deals with hardcore genetic questions, and their research sometimes contributes to clinical trials that are carried out by a director of clinical operations. Now, human geneticists find genetic factors resulting in various traits, which we've learned about in Lesson 1, as well as simple traits in Lesson 8 and complex traits in Lesson 9. They also study gene expression, which we learned about in Lessons 2, 3, and 4. And a human geneticist in particular will frequently make use of a pedigree. Another profession that also uses pedigrees is a genetic counselor. Remember, a pedigree is useful because it denotes family relationships as well as whether or not you're affected by a particular trait, so it can reveal an inheritance pattern of a trait you're interested in. And genetic counselors frequently help with family planning, couples who want to have a child, and they're very interested in knowing what the future of that child might be, health or otherwise. Another profession that uses genetics is a computational biologist. And a computational biologist is going to use copious amounts of computer science coding. They're usually specialists in computers, specifically computer science or coding, who also learn enough biology to apply what they know in computer science and coding. Now, one of the specific examples we talked about in our course is how a computational biologist in particular can actually derive an IBD score, which is an identity by descent score, which we know can indicate relatives and ancestry, which we learned about in Lessons 7 and 11. But another important profession we discussed, a genetic genealogist, also uses IBD, or identity by descent, and other kinds of information to help find relatives and ancestry for individuals. If you have any interest in learning more about these professions and others, you should check out the instructor's notes on this page for career resources.